Kirkuk, an ethnically diverse flashpoint in Iraq's north, remains on edge after deadly protests shook the region earlier this month. The oil-rich city has violently changed hands several times over the past decade, and the latest attempt to transfer control of a key government building sparked ethnic clashes between the region's Kurds and other groups. Tensions began brewing in Kirkuk late last month after reports that Iraqi Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani ordered the government building be handed over to the largest Kurdish political party, the KDP. Arab and Turkmen protesters, fearful of the KDP's return, blocked a major highway towards Erbil. Counter-protests and a security crackdown followed, leaving at least 4 people dead. In response, Turkiye called for the protection of the Turkmen community's rights, a group it shares historical and cultural ties. Control over Kirkuk has been contested between Iraq's Kurds in the north and the Shia-led government in Baghdad ever since the 2003 U.S. invasion. The Kurdish regional government wrestled control of the city from Daesh back in 2014. 3 years later, Iraqi security forces entered the city, re-establishing Baghdad's control. And to get a better understanding of the latest tensions in Kirkuk and what the future could hold, I'm joined by the head of the Iraqi Turkmen Front, Hassan Turan. He is joining me now from Baghdad. Mr. Turan, thanks for joining me on Straight Talk. What's the current situation in the city? Have tensions de-escalated?
Thank you so much. I think the situation, especially security situation, is better. But we cannot say that the problem is solved because till now there is many issues must be discussed between the components to reach to the common views, especially what happened in the last week in Kirkuk, and there was many problems happened when KDP asked to replace the operation center building to them, and the tension was very high between Turkmen, Arabs and Kurds, and also between the security forces and the people. So I think we need more dialogue to solve this problem.
So why do you think the central government wanted to transfer this very symbolic building to a Kurdish party? I mean, didn't it calculate the possible risks?
I think it was a wrong step from government in this critical time to give this very symbolic building to the KDP. The building have a symbolic because it is now a symbol of the federal government, especially in the security file in Kirkuk. And this building, since 17, are in the hand of the Iraqi army, and the security file before 17 was in the hand of Asayish and Peshmerga of the KDP and PUK. And the people of Kirkuk suffered from these security agencies which is working to their parties, not to the Kirkuki people. So when they left province in 17, and this building was the symbolic of the beginning of the federal Iraqi government dealing with the security file in Kirkuk.
You said this move came at a very critical time. What did you mean by that? Is it because that Iraq is also preparing to hold provincial elections later this year?
Yes, of course. Because, the local election, provincial council election, which is done in Kirkuk from 2005, since 18 years, it will be in December of this year. And it is very critical election because Kirkuk, multicultural society,
yes,
and every society try to prove himself. Then the time of this decision was very wrong because KDP have another building in the city center which received it from PMF before 1.5 years, but didn't come in it till now. And we asked them, the people of Kirkuk asked them, if you're serious to came again to the province, you can come and use this building, which is in the city center.
Yes.
But I think they try, both Baghdad and Erbil, to transfer another problems, which is between Erbil and Baghdad, to Kirkuk. And I told every leadership I met with them in Baghdad, even the prime minister, this is very wrong.
Yes.
Please take Kirkuk out of your balance between Erbil and Baghdad. There is many problems between Erbil and Baghdad.
Yes.
Financial problems, hydrocarbon problems. Don't make Kirkuk a kind of solution to forget another important problems by making Kirkuk a victim of your solution.
So did they take your warning seriously?
I think yes.
So let me have a clearer understanding here, Mr. Turan. Are Turkmens and Arabs on the same page when it comes to Kirkuk's demographic structure and their opposition to the Kurdish influence in the region?
First of all, we are not against the people of the Kurdish people in Kirkuk. We are against the policy of the two Kurdish parties, KDP and PUK, because when they controlled the province from 2003 to 2017, we saw many kidnaps, assassination, and very much our rights didn't taken at that time. We are not against the people, but against the policy of the two Kurdish parties.
Yes.
And yes, we are with the Arabs in the same view, because both of us didn't want to join Kirkuk in any case to the north of Iraq, because both of us believe if this happened, this means the first step of dividing of Iraq.
But Mr. Turan, the U.S. State Department, just after these violent incidents, has called on the Iraqi parties to resolve their issues in Kirkuk through the activation of Article 140 of the Iraqi Constitution. Is this still a possibility?
No, of course. The Article 140 failed to solve the problem of Kirkuk. You know, the end of the article was in 2007, and they cannot solve it. And there was a report from UNAMI published in 2008 and said the roadmap of the solution of Kirkuk is not through Article 140, it is through the consensus between the components in Iraq. They must reach all of them to common view, and when they reach the common view, at that time we can go to the referendum. But any referendum before that, it will be one of the important reasons to the interior world, maybe not only in Kirkuk, maybe in whole of Iraq.
Yes.
So Article 140 is not the solution. The solution is the consensus between the components.
Is there a common ground among the components?
Yes, we have a dialogue since 19 between the really representative of the components, and we reached to very, very important points in the common views of us. Maybe we need 1-2 months, maybe we can deal with a paper signed from all the ethnicities in Kirkuk. It will be a stable solution for Kirkuk problem.
So, Mr. Turan, Turkey has also called restraint on all sides. What do you make of Ankara's position? I mean, what's at stake for Ankara, especially when it comes to Kirkuk?
I think the relationship between Kirkuk and Iraq and Ankara is very strong, and both countries, Baghdad and Ankara, try to reach a good relationship between both of two countries. I think Mr. Hakan Fidan, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, when he talked before week about Kirkuk, he was very clear that Turkey and Ankara is Kirkuk for them very important province inside Iraq, because the Turkmens is living there. It is a multicultural society. There is a Turkmen and Turkish history in Kirkuk. And also he mentioned about the PKK inside Kirkuk, very important and dangerous terror agency inside Kirkuk. I think it is very important for Iraq and to Turkey that Kirkuk must be in the hand of the federal government in Baghdad, and also must federal government give the rights of the Turkmens not only in Kirkuk, also in Baghdad. Unfortunately, in the last cabinet, we haven't a Turkmen minister, which is very important in this executive council, when you can see the Shia, Sunni, Kurds, even the Christians, but unfortunately there isn't Turkmen in the cabinet. This issues is important for Turkmens and also important for Turkey.
All right, Mr. Turan, unfortunately, we'll have to leave it here. Thank you very much for joining me on Straight Talk. Appreciate it a lot.